Welcome to the Vermintide, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a Skaven versus Vampire Count showdown. Let's break it down, take a look at this build. So this game is myself facing off against Randomnix. And Random, of course, is one of the individuals who qualified for the Summer Championships and has certainly shown me a lot as it pertains to different styles of builds in some of the games I played with him here. So just a disclaimer, I'm not really a good Vampire Count player. Never played them much, one of my weaker factions, but overall I still think they're incredibly strong in domination mode. But take a look at this absolute monstrosity of a Skaven build. He has the Ikit's Zap Zap cannon in the back just to kind of give him some honest firepower against Mortis Engines, Corpse Carts, whatever, like Crypt Horrors. But the rest of his build is just a massive Vermintide. Clan Rats, Clan Rats, and Clan Rats. No Skaven Slaves, because again, they have the expendable trait, whereas the Clan Rats do not, so they have good capture weight. And he basically has 5 of every single Clan Rat variant and is summoning more. I have to say, I was super caught off guard. You know, most of the games I played against Skaven have been things like Howling Warp Gale, to lock down your flyers and Rattling Gunners and Mortars and things like that. But it's cool to see that these different styles are certainly here. So he has got mass Clan Rats up here, a Gracier with a Bell. And he basically just has some AoE punishment spells as well as the Dreaded 13th spell, Clan Rats, all that sort of good stuff. And guys, that is it. Like, his whole army is just Clan Rats, and I'm sure he'll be summoning in different units. Kind of makes me feel like I'm playing tabletop. Like, I played a tabletop game against, like, Orcs recently, and, I came in, it was one of my pals, I was like, oh yeah, he's going to bring his usual, like, Daka, he's got, like, the big Zap cannons and things like that. But he just brought like something like 160 Orc boys against me and like just played the objectives. And this is a very similar style. Now for me, I got some Skeleton Spears and some Doggos hiding on the high ground. We're going to summon in Crypt Ghouls. I got Vlad, Graveguard, as well as Zombies. And in many ways, I saw his army and I was like, oh, okay, he doesn't have Mortars, so he's not going to be able to kill my Graveguard effectively. Corpse Cart, Unholy Lodestone, double Crypt Ghouls. We have the Golem Squad hiding in the trees, which actually are pretty effective killers of Clan Rats, so that was good. And we have the double Necromancer on horseback. So let's get this party started. We'll do a little bit of fast forwarding as everybody's getting into position. And he beats me to the objectives because he's quicker. And that's actually a big variable, right? He gets here fast. His little rats have 38 speed. My zombies are 23. So my army's moving substantially slower. Up on the high ground, we do summon in some ghouls. So we have the Feasters in the Dusk and the Dire Pack waiting to strike. So I'm hoping I can win some trades up here against the mass Clan Rats. And here it comes. So for all of you Skaven enjoyers, we can finally see Skaven playing like a true Vermintide, which is very, very exciting. So Vlad's coming in. We got an Assassin. We do also have the Gracier of Ruin. And the Ghouls, they certainly have their work cut out for them. So going to be charging into the Clan Rats here. We do change the charge order, I think, at the last second. Yeah, we do. They're going to start mulching, and you can immediately see the Rats are going to be getting feasted on by the Golem. So Golem certainly is favored here. We can see the Clan Rats immediately taking some damage. But man, their model count is really, really high. 160 compared to my 120. And yeah, double Ghoul versus double Clan Rat should be good for us. We got Fellbats going back there to get his Warp Lightning Cannon. So the Warp Lightning Cannon for him is going to be kind of a dead investment, just kind of a free thing for me, which I was happy about. Summon's coming in. Necromancer's moving on to the middle objective. Zombies, as well as Vlad von Karstein. We got the Corpse Cart making its way up, and now we're just going to be tar pitting each other with all sorts of fun stuff. Sternsmen should be good. Should be able to beat down the Rats, and we'll see what happens here. They're bonus first infantry, they're regenerating. One thing that I really have to watch out for with the Sternsmen is the fact that they could get hit with the Dreaded 13th spell, and I love that there's actually an excuse for me to say the Dreaded 13th spell. It's so much fun. But here it comes. Thankfully, I got really lucky. His Clan Rats broke when Vlad came, because Vlad causes terror, and he missed it. So the Stormvermin actually didn't do any damage, and it's just going to be a summon I have to deal with over time. But see, the thing about his build, though, guys, is he has all the objectives, and yes, the Feasters in the Dusk beat down the Clan Vulcan Tail Slashers, but they took a lot of damage, and my Ghouls, I even came in for a rear charge with the Dogs, and the Skaven didn't break. A lot of that is because of the Gracier's Bell ability, which gives leadership. Feaster is going to be fighting, but he summons in Death Runners as like a counter tech against my Ghouls in my infantry, right? And since I don't have like a Vampire Count blob here, I'm kind of paying the troll toll a little bit, man. So here comes the Death Runners moving into the back, should be able to shank the Ghouls down. And yes, these Rat Assassins are going to make incredibly quick work against my Feasters. They're just nerfed from the Weeping Blade. Not that they have much armor in the first place. And over here, my Ghouls also being pushed back by just numbers, man. Like, I felt like I made a pretty colossal mistake by playing the high ground here. Like, I thought that my Ghoul units would eviscerate these Rats, but I was sorely disappointed. Also, the Vanguard from the Skaven Assassin units was just so good. So he moved in and was able to really crump my isolated infantry, whereas Vampire Counts, of course, usually fight better in a blob. Now, in retrospect, probably just overload the bottom, right? Just get the Ghouls, go down here, ignore the top point until you have an opportunity, because the Ghouls are trading cost effectively, but yeah, it's tough. So Vlad here fighting. The Graveguard are doing very well, but the Sternsmen, of course, not Sternsmen, but Stormvermin, giving a little bit of a Sword to the fight. Karstein Ring is active, so we got Ward Save, and he's able to, put some hurt on these guys. No Mortis Engine, but even still, the Rats have a lot of really fast capture weight units, so it's taking me a long time to get rid of them. And normally against Skaven, I don't bring Mortis Engines because I'm like, okay, they're just going to shoot it down. It's too easy of a target, but maybe in domination mode, I'm kind of still playing with the mindset of land battles in terms of this matchup. I think maybe you do need a Mortis Engine, right, to like deal with these guys. So Vlad is just laying an unholy whooping down on that assassin there, and he's good. He's like foot-based, he causes terror, very disruptive. Oh, the dreaded 13th spell, brutal stuff, but I think he just used it on Sternsman, or was that zombies? It was on Sternsman, yeah, so very good. Corpse Guard's moving in. I don't know why I was back there. A little bit of a haggard play there. But yeah, our skeletons and other infantry kind of getting buckled off. The inclusion of the Death Runners and the Vermintide has been good. High ground's going okay for us, though. We get the double Necromancer up here. Going to be trying to grab this point, but this is very much going to be a triple cap situation. In terms of value, it was actually pretty even. Both of us were trading back and forth in that regard. We have a summon coming down, so the summon's going to be bogging those Clan Rats off the objective. We're going to be trying to steal it, and honestly, desperation plays, but he has Ixtra's Triads and all sorts of these Halberd Rats here, and they had Stealth Bombs, so I actually didn't see them coming, and they get a nice little charge right there. Granted, we also hammered them down pretty bad with those Black Knights. Black Knights are really good. They actually got a cost increase. They cost 1,000 now instead of 750, but they have a bonus for they have magic damage and got some other buffs, so it's a very different beast. But we do get the high ground objective, so these Crypt Ghouls and the Dire Wolves were able to steal that. Necromancers and Crypt Ghouls here winning many of their fights. Zombies tar pitting a lot of his units. So we had a decent little play there, but overall the Vermintide is still too numerous. Like, with my army comp, I have not been able to actually cut through these guys, and it's been incredibly precarious. So here are the Dire Pack moves in. You can see there's actually so much lag just from how many rats are on the battlefield when I fast forward, which is so funny. But yeah, like, we just can't deal with it. There's too many. I need a Mortis Engine. I need some AoE draining. Like, I need to have some wind spells. Like, I just can't get through the rats. And I know my build wasn't, like, optimal, but my goodness, this was just so much. Vlad pushing him off. We're finally starting to get a little bit of weight on the middle, but the Grace here is on his way back. And up on the high ground, the Rats just returning from their crusade are going to be getting the capture weight. And again, Clan Rats do not have Expendable, which, for some reason I thought they did. So I wasn't too worried at first, but then when I see just how heavily he outcaptures me, because Crypt Ghouls cost like, what, 500, 600? So for two shitty Clan Rats for 300, we'll just crush them and capture weight, and honestly, we'll beat them. Like, a Crypt Ghoul will lose to 2 Clan Rats. So really just many of the trades I had, it just felt really bad. And maybe just not doing Crypt Ghouls and Graveguard, but the Graveguard still felt like they took like 10 years to get through these. So we got more Felbats coming in. We're finally starting to get the middle point, but it's just like, it's too little too late, right? The Rats are just pushing around. We have the middle, and they just have so many bodies everywhere. The true Vermintide. On top of that, Warp Grinder's on their way back in, and you can see the capture weight's going for us. Like, we're finally starting to get it. But again, rats upon rats. It truly, this is how it must feel in like Warhammer Fantasy lore to just fight against this Skaven. You're like, oh, we're winning, but oh wait, there's a million more of them. And that's going to be it. GG, well played. It was kind of a foregone conclusion at that point, so hopefully you guys don't mind the fast forward. Just trying to show you that there are ways. Like, look, I'm not a great Vampire Count player. One of my weaker factions actually would have been way better off on like the Empire, Cathay, like anything like that. But even still, like, we had some tools that were good, and like he still was that was a very one-sided game. It wasn't close at all. And it just goes to show, man, Skaven got some teeth. Like, beautiful play with the Death Runners. I loved it. Like, that was one of my favorite things. I didn't anticipate them being good against Vampire Counts, but they cleared me out. And yeah, he was able to really cause a lot of problems. Now, if I were playing against him again, and I kind of had an idea of a similar build coming, I would probably cut the double Necromancer. I felt like the summons weren't very good on an open map. I think the double summon abuse is more of a thing for like choke point maps. I would cut Vlad, just get a flying unit, like a flying character that can fly around and drop, magic wherever is needed, and then I would just go super wide with a Mortis Engine. So I would probably just, like, I don't know, maybe just like 4 or 5 Graveguard with mass zombies and skeletons and a Mortis Engine. And I feel like you need that against the Vermintide. And you can shut down range pretty easily with Felbats, so I think I gave too much credence to the range sniping, and yeah, kind of punished me a little bit. So GG, well played. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. And hey, for those of you guys who are Skaven fans, there's a lot of hope for them in Dom. I think they're really good. And it's cool to see Vampire Counts get crushed, because in some of the early ones we were doing, they're very dominant. But, now that we're getting some new blood in here to try these different playstyles. But I still think if you took someone who's really good at Vampire Counts, if you took like one of these Evenstar, Void Laws type players who are just insanely good at Vampire Counts, I think they would beat Skaven more often than lose. But Skaven can win, man. They got tricks. They have a super diverse roster. You could play Vermintide like this. You could play Gunline. Lots of fun stuff. GG, well played. We'll see you guys next time. Take care of yourselves.